with no hose. Where are you?
Trading the stock market with Uncle Charters. Bah! Money magnets and master traders. Today's trading day was a lot better than yesterday. Yesterday we was in a pretty small tight range, pretty trappy. We had an inside candle set up, and today the SPY managed to end the chop range, the chop fest, bearishly. Okay, let's see if tomorrow will give us some more bearish follow through. Okay, now the reason why I said it ended it bearishly was because, as you guys know, yesterday's candle was inside the range of Monday's candle. So we was watching the range to see which way it would break. Now, based on the inside candle setup, if it break the mother candle's low, that's the signal for us to get bearish. Okay, so as far as how we traded it, I wrote in my Discord. Okay, if you guys need some extra guidance, extra pair of eyes, definitely consider joining Uncle Charles' Discord. And I have a lot of profitable traders on my Discord that's, they're really cool people as well. But I wrote here in the first post for SPY, 533.2 and 532 are the two levels to watch. We are currently below it, and as long as below, I am bearish. What does it mean to be bearish, guys? It means you favor more downside. You're expecting more downside to come. You're expecting the market to drop. That's what it means to be bearish. For bearish follow through, 530 must fail to put those lower targets in play. And I wrote here, if 532 and 533.2 can clear, I had higher targets in play. I would have been bullish above 532 and 533.2. Now, I always use the 15-minute chart. Okay, always use the 15-minute chart. And we look at the price action for SPY today. Okay, started a bit choppy. Now, this line right here was my 533.3 level. Okay, we did get a little bounce in the morning, but it did not clear 533.3. I did not trust the bounce because we were unable to clear those pivot levels that I mentioned in my Discord. But what did we do? We ended up breaking down 532 right there after hitting 533.3. Let me move this over. After hitting 533.3 and going up as high as 533.8, SPY broke down 532 and gave us a nice $2 drop, more than $2 drop, going as low as 529.6. I did write that in the Discord. As of now, 533.2 is resistant and supports at 532. If 532 fails, 530 and 528.6 in play. And when we broke it down, I wrote 532 failed and already hit 530. Price action was pretty fast this morning, but from there we bounced. Okay, we bounced from 530, recaptured 532, gave us a nice $3 pop up to 535. You guys can see using the pivot levels, using the 15-minute chart can do you good. Okay, if you play it level to level style with no greed. However, $2 drop, $2.50 drop, $3 pop. Very nice move to the downside, to the upside for day trading. However, you guys can see what happened here. All right, we see it in hindsight, but let's talk about the context. We hit 535, and then what happened after that? Once we hit 535, when does Uncle Charles trust the rejection from a resistant level? I trust the rejection from a resistant level when it's strong enough to break down support levels, giving us the false breakout setup. And I did write in my Discord, we got some follow through on the recapture of 532 with it holding as support and 533.3 clearing and 535 hitting. From here, if 535 clears, 536.5 were next as targets. No puts unless 533.3 or 532 fails as support. As usual, we're always waiting for the price action to give us the signal. What are we going to do next? We break out resistance. We look to long. Like if I said here, 535 clears, we're going to look to long with those other targets. And if we break down support, we look to short. And I wrote here, no puts unless 533.3 or 532 failed. And look what happened. 533.3 failed. 532 failed. And it pushed down. 532 even acted as resistance. And it pushed downwards, guys. Holy moly, doing the shop. Going as low as 520-ish. Also, thank you to Uncle Pow for that 130 drop. He was talking today, talking about stuff. Market reacted bearishly. Okay? reacted bearishly and dropped. But remember, it started with the false breakout setup. This is why Uncle Charter doesn't call a top, because I see stuff like this happen every day or every other day. We don't need to call a top. We wait for the false breakout setup, one of the greatest trade setups of all time. We trade with the traps and it push it downwards. Holy moly, $13 drop. Well, more than that. Hit 535, then we got a $15 drop. Very, very nice. I hope you guys all came out green. Now, let's talk about the plan. That's what happened today. Let's talk about the plan. Overall, to me, it's looking bearish. Okay, now yesterday, when I spoke to you guys about QQQ, I was able to say that QQQ was looking bearish with a little bit more confidence because we rejected from the 20 daily moving average. But with SPY, it was a little bit more complicating, at least for me it was, because SPY didn't actually hit the 20 daily moving average. So I was wondering if it had a little more room to go up to hit the 20 before it decided to drop. Obviously, in hindsight, we can see that it didn't need to hit the 20. It broke down the mother candle's low. I am bearish as long as below, what's the mother candle's low? Around 533.8. I did have a fib level around 533.2-ish. So as long as below 533.2, Uncle Charters will remain bearish. What would bearish follow through look like though? Well, as of recording this, it's around 525.9. Okay, so I have support at 525 and I do have support at 523. If those levels fail, down to 420 we go. And if we lose 420, guys, we are dropping. Possibly another 5 to 10, maybe $15 drop, guys. Volatility is here. And remember that fear is a lot stronger than greed. So when we're dropping, the market tends to drop a lot faster. I mean, besides the April 9th candle, obviously, maybe we need another tweet from Trump to get another candle like that or something. But besides the April 9th candle, usually the market drops a lot faster than it rises, okay? So if we lose 525 and 523, we are dropping. Below 520, I would definitely be bearish. But overall, below 533.2, I am bear biased, all right? Now, that's the bear case. Bull case scenario, as usual, we need to recapture some lost levels. The same way Uncle Chart has mentioned to you guys. You don't have to call a top. Just look for the false breakout setup. It's the same thing for bounces. You don't have to call a bottom. Just look for false breakdown setups. The recapture of lost levels. All right. From here, I have resistance at 527 and a fib level that was lost today at 528.6. If it can clear, 530 would be in play first, and then two important pivot levels. 532. That's a macro level fib level, and of course 533.3. If those levels can clear, then back to 535, 536.3, 538, and 539.5 would all be back in play. We still got a few gaps to the upside that never got filled. So, I mean, bulls have reasons to head to the upside, but it won't be possible unless, like I said, they can recapture some lost levels, starting with 527, 528.6, and especially that 533.2 level. Moving on to triple Q, broke the inside candle to the downside, looking bearish right now. It's around 444.6 as of recording this. I have a fib level at 445, macro level fib level around 448, and then 449.6. If you want a bounce, we must get the false breakdown setup. Recapture some lost levels, starting with those levels that I mentioned, and above 449.6, 451, and 452.8 would be in play. Hard rejection around that area today. But if we can clear it, maybe we can go for the gap fill around 458-ish. All right? Bear case scenario, stay bearish on triple Q as long as below 445. We broke down that level today, as you guys can see. So as long as below 445, the breakdown stays intact. And if the breakdown stays intact, our bearishness should also stay intact, okay? It's not because we're bear biased traders. It's because the price action is bearish and we're sheeps. Sheeps follow the price action. Bah! And as long as below 445, my next targets are 443, 441, 439.2, 438, and 434-ish area to the downside. Okay, guys? Moving on to NVDA. Got a nice doji after a gap down, but keep in mind, the context is important here. We did have an inside candle set up yesterday as well, and NVDA took out the mother candle's low. Can they show some bearish follow through? There was also some catalyst, some bearish catalyst, some news stuff as well. But can they show some bearish follow through? 103.5, 102, and the fib level at 100.5-ish are support, okay? Now that fib level around 100.5-ish, around there, held as support. So bears need to break down those levels, especially 100.5, and I would definitely be bearish in favor a lot, and I do mean a lot, more downside. All right, if we are to get a bounce, then bulls need to recapture 105. We lost that level today. 107, 108.6, recapture those levels, and especially 110. Okay, a recapture of 110 would recapture the mother candle's low and the 20 daily moving average. Hard to get bullish when we're below the 20 daily moving average. Okay, so bulls got a lot of work to do, but like I said, if bears can break down more support levels, 103.5, 102, and 100.5 fib level, we are definitely dropping. Okay, Tesla, I talked about the structure, this little bear flag here that I have. The 250 and the 248 level were the levels to watch. Okay, I'm looking at this at a 15-minute chart, but you guys can see we broke down that 248 level and we dropped, went as low today, went as low as 233.8-ish. Okay, a very, very nice job. I hope you guys caught it. Now, if we are to get more downside, I have support levels at 241 and 239.3 relative to where it currently is as of recording this. Those are the support level. And if we can break it down, 238 would be in play first, then 236, possibly all the way down to 234 or lower in play, okay? But if we are to hit those levels, 241 and 239.3 must fail as support. As usual, trust no bounce unless we can clear some lost levels. Now I have resistance at 243, 245, and 248. Those levels must recapture if we are to get a bounce back. Above 248, I'd probably be bullish, at least for the short term, in favor 253.6, 255, and 258 plus would be the targets, okay? Only possible if we can recapture 243, 245, and 248. If we lose 241 and 239.2 tomorrow, then more downside incoming. Here is Coin. Coin tested the 5 DMA as a resistant level, okay? It's not as volatile as I'd like it to be, but that's why it's important we look at the context, right? And it retested the 5 DMA as a resistant level. That's overall bearish price action behavior. We'll see if tomorrow will there be follow through. If the answer is yes, 171.5, 170, and 168 all must fail as support. If those levels fail, we are bearish on Coin. Now, if Coin can recapture some lost levels, 173.8, 175, and 176.2, we are once again bullish on Coin, guys. Remember, we are sheeps. We just follow the price action. We play it level to level. If you guys do swing, always swing your runners, okay? So if you bought 20 contracts, take profits on 15 of them for a level move and swing the last 5. That's what I usually do anyways. And here is the VIX. It managed to recapture the 31.4 level. That is a false breakdown setup. But the question now is, will there be follow through for tomorrow? Stay bullish as long as above 31.4 because that keeps the false breakdown setup intact. All right, I do have 33, 35, and the fib level at 36.5 as targets and next resistance levels. If we can clear those levels tomorrow, then more upside would definitely be in play. Now, if we break down 31.4, then today's recapture was a false one. That's a false breakout or a false recapture. And that will put 30, 28.2 or lower back in play. Now, we already hit that 28.2 fib level. So I would believe the next test, we would break it down, okay? So, if you're a bull on VIX, you don't want to see that level get tested, okay? Guys, I just have to say, as usual, thank you guys so much for being here. I love you guys. I'm always grateful to see you guys. I'm happy you guys are here with me. You guys are here. We here, baby. I love y'all money magnets. And don't forget to always remember that the true shepherd is the price action. Bye.